something is spreading fast. Let's find out what actually happened.
We track down the internet's biggest stories.
ChatGPT is open on a creator's screen right now, and it is not doing what most people think it is doing. This video explains the specific workflow shift that quietly happened in the last few months, and why it did not happen 2 years ago when ChatGPT first launched. Here is the real question. ChatGPT has existed since late 2022. So why are creators only now rearranging their entire production process around it? The timing is the story, not the tool. Segment 1. The scripting floor dropped. 2 years ago, ChatGPT could write a paragraph. Today, creators are using it to hold a full creative session, not just drafting sentences, but stress-testing hooks, generating 3 competing title angles in 30 seconds, and asking it to argue against its own first draft. That feedback loop used to require a writing partner, a producer, or at minimum a comment section full of honest strangers. Now a solo creator can run that loop alone before recording a single word. What changed is not the AI. What changed is that creators learned to prompt it differently. Early adopters were asking ChatGPT to write for them. The creators gaining traction now are asking it to challenge them. That is a completely different relationship with the tool, and it produces noticeably different output. The practical shift, instead of typing "write me a YouTube script about X," the creators getting results are typing "here is my rough idea, tell me the 3 weakest assumptions in it." That one change in approach is the workflow shift most explainer videos skip entirely. Segment 2. Thumbnail ideation quietly went from guesswork to iteration. Thumbnail strategy used to live inside a creator's head, or in expensive A/B testing tools most small channels could not afford. Now creators are describing their thumbnail concept to ChatGPT in plain language and asking, what emotion does this image create in the first half second? Does the text conflict with the image or reinforce it? What would a viewer assume this video is about before they click? Those are questions that used to require a graphic design consultant or a very patient friend. The answers are now available in a 30-second conversation. The result is that thumbnail concepts are being iterated 4 or 5 times before a single image is made, which means fewer wasted design hours and tighter visual clarity. This is not about ChatGPT designing thumbnails. It is about using it as a fast, patient thinking partner before any visual work begins. That distinction matters because creators who expect ChatGPT to do the creative work are disappointed. Creators who use it to pressure test their own instincts are reporting that their output feels sharper. Segment 3. Caption and description writing went from ignored to actually useful. Most creators spend almost no time on video descriptions and closed captions. They are treated as afterthoughts. What appears to be shifting is that creators are now dropping their full transcript into ChatGPT and asking it to extract the 3 most search-worthy phrases their video actually contains, not generic keywords, but the specific language their own video uses. Then they are building descriptions and chapter titles from that output. The result is that descriptions are starting to reflect what the video actually says, rather than what the creator hoped the algorithm would notice. That alignment between spoken content and written metadata is something creators have known matters for years. ChatGPT is simply making it fast enough to actually do. Segment 4. The note-taking layer is where the compounding effect lives. Here is the part that is easy to miss. Individual tasks, scripting help, thumbnail feedback, caption drafting, each save a small amount of time. But creators who are building a persistent ChatGPT workflow are doing something more interesting. They are feeding it their own notes, their past video ideas, their audience questions from comments, and asking it to find patterns across everything at once. That is a note-taking and pattern recognition layer that used to require a dedicated researcher or a very organized spreadsheet habit. The creators who are quietly pulling ahead are not using ChatGPT for one task. They are using it as a running creative memory that they can interrogate at any point in the production process. This is why the shift feels sudden even though the tool is not new. The use pattern changed. Solo creators are now operating with something closer to a small team's cognitive bandwidth, and the gap between a one-person channel and a 10-person production is narrowing in ways that are genuinely difficult to reverse. So what is most people missing? They are watching ChatGPT and waiting for it to become more impressive. The creators moving fastest are not waiting. They are building a prompting habit, a note-taking habit, and a feedback habit around a tool that is already good enough to change how a solo creator thinks through a problem. If you want to understand the next shift in how creators are actually using AI tools, not the hype version but the workflow version, this channel breaks down exactly those moments, video by video. Subscribe for the next one. The question worth sitting with: if AI is compressing the gap between solo creators and full teams, what happens to the platforms that were built assuming that gap would always exist?